She's been called the Millennial Oprah by New York Magazine and everybody's BFF by New York Times and the poet of her generation by Time Magazine. Who am I talking about? Cleo Wade. And she's here today to talk about her new book, What the Road Knows. The picture book advocates kindness and encourages persistence. Good morning, Cleo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. I'm doing really good. So, what is the message you're sharing with your readers in this book?
So, this book is called What the Road Said, and it is a book about a young traveler who is journeying, trying to find her way, and she meets this kind of magical road that offers her comfort and wisdom and encouragement along her path. And she has all of, or they have all of these big, complicated questions for the world, and the road just kind of gives these very simple, loving responses.
So, why do you think the book is a perfect read during these uncertain times?
I think that our kids have so many questions, and I think that they should be encouraged to continuously ask questions. And I think that during these times, it's hard to find a way to connect with our children to talk about the issues going on. And so I really hope that this book could be a bridge and a space for kids and their parents to connect. And so, if they're there's a part in the book where the traveler says, what if people are mean to me? And the road says, lead them to kindness. And the traveler says, how? And the road says, by being kind. And they say, well, what if they want to fight? And the road says, lead them to peace. And the traveler says, how do I lead them to peace? And the road says, by listening to their stories, telling them yours, and reminding them that you are all on this journey together. And so these are things that I think are so, easily applicated to so much of what's going on in the world around us right now. And it's a great conversation starter for our kids.
It would be a great conversation starter for the adults. So
Yeah.
you talk, yeah, yeah, because you look at the world today and you see all these things happening. Uh, Atlanta, what happened in January, what happened last June, and how do you get these conversations started with the adults?
You know, the so much of where we have to start with the adult conversations is an openness and willingness to understand each other's pain. I think that we live in a culture where we think that some people don't deserve pain in certain ways, or if this awful thing that happens is somehow justified in someone else's head, then you know a person doesn't have a right to feel a certain way, or and one of the things that I always say is, especially in conversations around race, is that if someone says this hurts my feelings, you don't get to say no, it doesn't. And so I think that with the adult conversations are similar to the kids ones. We need to start with the basics. Does that hurt your feelings, and why? Are you okay? And these are things that, how are you doing really? Can you tell me more about that? Can you tell me your story? Can you help me to understand? But when we've decided that we think we understand other people's lives better than they understand their own lives, it's very hard to connect and find any type of conflict resolution.
As a mother and activist, what's the importance of building community, especially for women? I mean, we just talked about the differences, what just happened in Atlanta, and just recently the NCAA, when they talked about the exercise rooms, they gave the guys this huge area with all these weights, and the women had a couple of mats and a few dumbbells.
You know, Community is so important because, to me, we find safety through community, and I think that's the only place where we find safety. And so I think that every single person deserves to feel and be safe. And we find safety through community because therein lies solidarity, therein lies connection, and understanding. And when those things are present, it's a lot easier to understand fairness. It's a lot easier to spot inequity. It's a lot easier to spot inequality. And you're a lot more open to finding more, a common ground around how to make things more equitable or equal.
Cleo Wade, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend and talking about your brand new book, What the Road Knows. And keep holding on
What
to
the
that
road
title.
said.
I'm sorry.
It's called What the Road Said.
What the Road Said. I
No
apologize. What the Road Said.
worries.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend.
Thank you.